Chapter 1. Twinkle the fairy loved naps more than anything. She would curl up on a petal, snuggle under a soft leaf blanket, and drift into dreamland faster than a hiccup. One sunny day, she found the coziest moss patch ever. It was squishy, warm, and smelled like cinnamon and sunshine. Twinkle yawned a big fairy yawn, wiggled her toes, and fell fast asleep. But when she woke up, something was different. Gone was her flower bed, gone were the buzzing bees and her tiny mushroom mailbox. Instead, she was lying in the middle of a glittering magical land she had never seen before. The grass was bright pink and tickled her legs. The trees were striped like candy canes, and some even wiggled when she stared at them too long. Sparkling bubbles floated through the air, and when one popped, it said, "Boop!" Twinkle rubbed her sleepy eyes. "Am I dreaming?" she whispered. A parade of tiny marshmallow creatures bounced by, giggling. One wore a jelly bean hat. Another had shoes made of gummy worms. "Ooh, this place is silly," Twinkle said with a giggle of her own. She fluttered up into the sky to get a better look. Below her, the land stretched out like a painting made by a very happy raccoon. Waterfalls of lemonade flowed down rainbow cliffs. Gigantic daisies sang in harmony as dragonflies did loops in the air. "This is the most amazing dream ever." Twinkle cheered, spinning in the air. Glitter sprayed from her wings like happy confetti. She zoomed over a field of giggling flowers, then tumbled into a big soft pile of fluff balls that smelled like cookies. But as Twinkle danced and played, something strange began to happen. The colors around her started to fade. The sky, once sparkly blue, now looked a little gray. The flowers stopped giggling. One of the marshmallow creatures sat still, frowning. Twinkle's wings drooped a little. "Hey, where did the happy go?" She looked around. The grass wasn't pink anymore. It was brownish. The candy cane trees had stopped wiggling. A soft breeze whispered through the air, but it didn't feel warm. It felt worried. Twinkle took a tiny step forward, then another. Her sparkle trail dimmed just a little. "I think something's wrong here," she said, hugging her arms around herself. She didn't know where she was or why everything was changing. But she did know one thing for sure. She needed to find out what was happening. And maybe, just maybe, she could help. Chapter 2. Twinkle tiptoed through the wilting flowers, her wings fluttering softly behind her. The sky above was getting darker and the air felt a little chilly, like someone had left the freezer open. She didn't like this part of Wonderland, not one bit. Suddenly, a soft sniffle came from behind a squiggly bush. Twinkle called, peeking around the leaves. Floating just above the ground was a tiny gray cloud with a big round face and even bigger teardrops. The cloud was sniffling so hard he bobbed up and down like a balloon. "Oh dear," Twinkle said gently. "Are you okay?" The cloud looked up, surprised. "I'm Whimsy," he said between sobs. "And no, I'm not okay. Wonderland is not okay." Twinkle flew closer and offered him a petal to wipe his nose. "What happened here, Whimsy?" Whimsy let out a big sigh. "It all started when the mighty bear Grizzlegrand got hurt. He's the protector of Wonderland. He keeps the sunshine sunny and the flowers funny. But now he's hiding deep in the Gloomsnarl Grove and nothing's been the same since." Twinkle's eyes grew wide. "Hiding? Why?" "He has a thorn in his paw," Whimsy said, shivering. "A big, mean, twisty one. It hurts him so much he growls at anyone who gets close." Twinkle frowned. "Poor bear." Whimsy nodded. "And the worst part is, the whole land feels his pain. Without Grizzlegrand's smile, the sky gets gloomy, the flowers droop, and even I can't float right." Twinkle fluttered in a thoughtful circle. "Then someone needs to help him. Maybe I could try?" Whimsy stopped crying. "You would do that?" Twinkle gave a brave little nod. "I don't like seeing sad flowers or crying clouds. If I can help, I will." Whimsy beamed through his tears and floated up a little higher. "You'll need to complete 3 special tasks to reach Grizzlegrand safely. They'll each give you something you'll need to help him." Twinkle gulped. 3 tasks? That sounds like a lot." "You can do it," Whimsy said kindly. "You're a fairy. You sparkle." Twinkle smiled. "Well, that's true." Whimsy handed her a glowing silver pendant on a string. "This glowstone will light your way when things get really dark." Twinkle slipped it over her head. It twinkled softly like a nightlight. "Where do I go first?" she asked. "To the Honeydew Hollow," said Whimsy. "And Twinkle?" "Yes. Thank you for trying. Wonderland needs someone like you." Twinkle gave him a warm fairy hug and flew off toward the honey-colored hills. Her adventure had officially begun. Chapter 3. Twinkle zipped through the sky, her silver glowstone twinkling softly on her chest. Below her, the land turned golden and sticky. She had reached Honeydew Hollow. The hills were covered in honey-dripping flowers, chubby buzzing bees, and little puddles of gooey goodness. But something felt off. A group of bees zoomed in circles, bumping into flowers each other, and even a very confused butterfly. "Oof," said one bee, spinning like a top. "I don't know where my hive is." "Everything's all mixed up," cried another. "The flowers are all tangled and I keep going the wrong way." Twinkle fluttered down gently. "Hi there," she said kindly. "I'm Twinkle. I'm here to help." A bee with tiny glasses buzzed closer. "You are? Oh, thank goodness. We've been stuck for days." Twinkle looked around. The once sparkly honeysuckle vines had grown wild and twisty, curling into a giant maze across the valley. "Is that your hive at the other end?" she asked. "Yes," the bees all shouted, "but we can't figure out how to get back." Twinkle put her hands on her hips. "All right, let's figure this out together." She fluttered high into the air to look at the maze from above. Okay, I think I see the path. We just need to follow the flowers in rainbow order. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple." The bees stared at her, blinking. Twinkle giggled. "Okay, let's say it together. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple." The bees buzzed in unison. "Perfect," Twinkle beamed. "Let's follow that trail." She led the way, skipping from one red blossom to the next, then hopping to orange and yellow. The bees followed, zigzagging behind her like a buzzing, happy line of jelly beans. Along the way, they bounced on honey bubbles, slid down leafy slides, and giggled as sticky drops plopped on their heads. "This is actually kind of fun," one bee laughed. At last, they reached the golden hive. It shimmered like warm sunshine and smelled like pancakes. "We made it," cheered the bees, zooming into their cozy home. Twinkle smiled proudly. "You just needed a little help and a little rainbow." The bee with glasses fluttered back out and handed her a glowing drop of golden honeylight. "This is for you," he said. "It holds warmth and cheer. It'll help you in dark places." "Thank you," Twinkle said, tucking the drop into her satchel. "Now off to my next task." The bees buzzed goodbye with a joyful hum, and Twinkle took off into the sky once more, her wings glowing brighter than before. Satchel. Chapter 4. Twinkle flew toward the sound of silence. The land below her was quiet. Too quiet. No birds, no laughter. Just still trees and soft gray shadows. She had arrived at Giggle Grove. Once, the grove had been filled with singing trees and chirping birds that told the silliest jokes. But now, everything was hush-hush and gloomy. "Hello?" Twinkle called. No answer. She landed gently on a mushroom that didn't even bounce. "That's not right," she whispered. "Mushrooms always bounce." Suddenly, a rustle came from a nearby bush. "Eep!" Twinkle jumped, ready to sparkle blast if needed. Out popped a fluffy, round creature with big sparkly eyes, striped fur, and a tail as long as a rope. He was holding a feather in his paws. "Who are you?" Twinkle asked softly. "I'm Bibble," the creature whispered. "I'm trying to fix the songs." Twinkle tilted her head. "The songs?" Bibble nodded. "The songleaf birds lost their song feathers. Without them, the trees can't laugh, the air can't dance, and no one can giggle anymore." Twinkle gasped. "We have to find them." Bibble gave a shy nod. "They're stuck all over the grove, way up high." Twinkle flapped her wings. "Then let's go feather hunting." Together, they zoomed through the trees. Some feathers were tangled in vines, some floated on top of fluffy clouds. One feather was being used as a nap blanket by a very sleepy ladybug. Twinkle tickled the ladybug gently. "Excuse me, may we borrow that?" The ladybug yawned and nodded, rolling over with a tiny snore. One by one, they gathered all the song feathers. Bibble even used his long tail to grab one stuck on a giggle vine that bounced like a trampoline. Finally, they brought the feathers to the tallest tree in the grove. The tree blinked awake and gave a great jiggly laugh. "Bah! That tickles." All at once, the grove came to life. Trees giggled, birds sang, flowers wiggled and whispered funny riddles. "What's a tree's favorite snack?" one flower asked. "I don't know," Bibble said. "Twigs and giggles," it squealed. Twinkle and Bibble laughed until they rolled on the grass. "You did it!" Bibble cheered. "You brought back the fun," Twinkle smiled. "We did it." Then the songleaf birds swooped down, chirping a lovely tune. Their feathers sparkled once more. One bird perched on Twinkle's shoulder and gave her a soft, shiny leaf. "This is a leaf of echoes," Bibble explained. It lets your voice speak to the hearts of others, even a big old bear. Twinkle tucked the leaf carefully into her pouch. Only one task left, she said. Bibble puffed out his chest. I'm coming too, Twinkle beamed. Let's go find a bear. And with that, they took off, soaring toward the darkest part of the land. Chapter 5. The trees grew taller, the shadows got deeper. Even the wind whispered softly as if it didn't want to wake something. Twinkle held her glowstone tightly. Bibble walked beside her, his fluffy tail swishing nervously. We're close, he whispered. Ahead of them stood a giant tangle of trees and vines. It looked like a cave made out of night. This was Gloomsnarl Grove. Twinkle took a deep breath. We can do this. Inside the grove, everything was quiet. No birds, no butterflies, no giggles, just silence and shadows. Then they saw him. Grizzlegran, the mighty bear. He was huge, so huge he looked like a moving hill. His fur was dark and shaggy, and his eyes were filled with pain. He lay curled up in a bed of leaves, one massive paw stretched out in front of him. Twinkle fluttered closer. The thorn was there, big and black and twisted, stuck deep in his paw. Grizzlegran let out a low growl, not angry, just sad. It's okay, Twinkle said softly. I'm here to help. The bear flinched but didn't move. Twinkle reached into her pouch and pulled out the golden honeylight. She let it drip gently onto his paw. Warm, golden light spread across the fur. Next, she held up the leaf of echoes. Grizzlegran, she whispered, I know you're hurting, but you're not alone. Wonderland needs you, and we're here for you. The leaf glowed softly, carrying her words right into the bear's heart. His eyes blinked. Then he gave the tiniest nod. Twinkle smiled. Okay, here we go. She placed her tiny hands on the thorn. It was cold and pulsing with dark magic. But Twinkle was stronger than it. With one soft pull, pop, the thorn slid out. Grizzlegran let out a deep, rumbling sigh. His body relaxed. The darkness began to fade. All around them, the grove began to glow. Flowers bloomed. Mushrooms lit up. The air sparkled. Then Grizzlegran did something amazing. He smiled. Thank you, little fairy, he rumbled. Twinkle beamed. Bibble did a happy dance in the leaves. Grizzlegran stood tall, stretching his great paws. Then he bent down low. Climb aboard, he said kindly. Twinkle and Bibble scrambled up onto his furry back. He rose up and carried them out of the grove, the light growing brighter with every step. When they reached the edge of Wonderland, the land sparkled again. Bubbles bounced, the sky turned rainbowy, and the marshmallow creatures danced in a circle. Whimsy the cloud floated by with a big smile. You did it! Twinkle giggled. We did it! Grizzlegran gave one last roar, a happy one this time. The sound echoed across the land and made the flowers bloom even bigger. As the sun set, Twinkle curled up on the bear's back, Bibble snuggled beside her. Her glowstone dimmed as her eyes fluttered closed, and in a land full of light, laughter, and love, Twinkle drifted into the softest, sweetest sleep.